guys, welcome to the Zapata Brand Boxing Edition. It is brought to you by Ringside. Go to ringside.com/podcast, and you too can get up to 40% off selected brands. Well, guys, last night, big fight, and it was what I predicted. Believe it or not, my prediction was right. And that's very unusual. Last night in the main event, Big Bang Zhang knocks out Deontay Wilder in a fight that I thought at first, Zhang looked a little slow. I thought possibly Wilder would step up and maybe do something, but what happened with the knockout? Now, this is a fight which goes to show you Deontay Wilder has taken way too many punches, and this is a classic guy who was very good, but then he had got into some wars, and with these wars, you cannot. And you once you have wars like that, you're not going to be the same, and that proved it there. You also saw it with Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury's on the tail end now because of the wars he was in with Deontay Wilder. This is what happens in the heavyweight division. It happens a lot. It happens to even the best of them, and I think this is the end of Deontay Wilder as a at least even mid-tier fighter. I think his career is pretty much on the down end here, especially in the heavyweight division. The punch wasn't crazy that he got hit with. It wasn't an unbelievable punch. It was a nice right hook off of a right hook that he had got hit prior to that, and he wobbled. But it was still a hook that got him down. He went flat on his back, tried to get up. The referee just wouldn't let him continue, and that was a smart stoppage by the ref. Deontay Wilder is not the same he was. You know, every fighter says when they go into a fight like that, "Oh, I'm better than I've ever been," and clearly he was not. He is not the fighter he was even 3 years ago or 2 years ago. Those fights have taken just a tremendous amount out of Wilder. So where does that leave Zhang? Well, I think Zhang is in line for something a lot bigger. Would I say he's going to fight for the Undisputed Championship? No, probably not. I don't think he will. I think it's going to be something along the lines of, well, I thought, and I will go to the second fight that happened on that show. I thought this would be a good test for him in the next, to see where he's going to be, because he fought a guy who had the championship a few times. He fought guys. Deontay Wilder was a top level fighter. Zhang, I don't think, was at that level yet. But where does he go from here? Because you got December 3rd, the Tyson Fury and Usyk rematch. From what I'm understanding, AJ is defending against the guy we'll talk about in our next show, in the next bout. So where does that leave Zhang? Kind of on the outskirts. Would a Jared Anderson take a fight against Zhang? I don't think so. I don't think Jared Anderson's ready for that, but I also don't think he would take the fight. If he did, hey, kudos to him. Then it shows you Jared Anderson is serious about getting to the next level. I don't think he'll take it, though, and that would be on the August 3rd show. I thought it would be. But that's out of the way because Deontay Wilder was supposed to step in and fight, and was supposed to fight Jared Anderson on that show. So maybe Zhang gets that slot there. I'll have to talk to Kevin about that. He would know better. But that leads me to the bout. The co-main event on that was Filip Hrgovic versus Daniel Dubois. Now, this one, I thought there was a shot Daniel Dubois could win because he was a guy who had some good skills. He had decent skills. I thought he was not bad. The knock on Dubois has always been his chin. The knock on Hrgovic has been his activities. He's been inactive. He's been the number one contender for the IBF for I would think maybe a year or two almost, and he never got the shot. So I don't know if that played a part in it. But let me say this: Hrgovic was stopped on cuts. Daniel Dubois is not a bad fighter. He's a guy who could give people trouble. I believe, and I know people give me a little bit of backlash for this, but I believe Daniel Dubois beat Usyk. That shot was legal. So in my gut, I feel that Daniel Dubois won. So where does that leave him? what I'm hearing is in London, September 21st, he's going to fight Anthony Joshua in Wembley. Would be a massive fight, and it would actually give either AJ or Dubois, obviously, the upper hand for the winner of Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. This sets up a lot of different things. The heavyweight division is really jumbling around. I think there's a lot of people on the tail end of their careers right now that are in the top or upper echelon. I don't even know if AJ is a guy on he's younger, but I don't know if he's on that echelon yet. I think he's the one that's going to come out of this, and he could be one that's going to be definitely going to be one that's going to look at. He's got the skills, definitely. This fight should have been the main event. Frank from the gas station. I always like hearing from Frank. Yeah, the Dubois fight was good, I thought, but Frank, I'd be curious to know what you thought of the Zhang fight. I had a gut feeling that was what was going to happen, just because I don't know. They say you're as good as your last fight. Although Zhang didn't look good in his last fight, he was close to 300 pounds. He came in at 279, I believe. He looked a little soft, but he definitely not 290, 298, right where he was in the last fight. The Hrgovic fight was good. I thought it was good. Got stopped. I think Hrgovic's just his lack of activity hurts him. Dubois' situation is his chin, but he's a guy who's streaking right now. He is streaking. He's won his last two. He's looking good. Does that mean he could beat Anthony Joshua? I don't think so. I think Anthony Joshua is going to be the one that comes out because of his two fights with Usyk. I think he learned a lot from that, and he's grown from it. I mean, look what he did with Anthony Joshua. He grew from that. He didn't go backwards. He grew. So, I think he's. Wait, what did I just say there? I think Anthony Joshua's fights with Ruiz, he grew in those fights. He didn't go backwards, and he grew in the Usyk fights. He grew on those. I think just Deontay Wilder's the guy's going backwards, and the other one's going backwards too. Tyson Fury. Zhang needs a Red Bull, and he'd be a beast. Yeah, he doesn't have exactly a little pep in his. It doesn't even seem like he cares much when he's there. He's kind of doing his boing bang bang left right hook. He doesn't seem like he has that enthusiasm you need. He would be a tough sell for a heavyweight champion because he tries to speak English. He's pretty funny when he does, but he doesn't have that charisma that an Anthony Joshua has. Anthony Joshua has some charisma. Tyson Fury has charisma. I don't even think Daniel Dubois has it. Hrgovic is just. I like Hrgovic as a fighter. I think he deserved a championship, but his inactivity wasn't the greatest. And not only was his inactivity not the greatest, he didn't seem like he didn't have the urgency there. And when you're losing to Daniel Dubois, you got to beat him to get to the next level. My favorite fight of the night, and I'm sure this will be one it's probably right now probably contender for fight of the year, was Nick Ball and Ray Ford. Now, Ray Ford's a Jersey guy. I love Ray Ford, Camden, New Jersey. That is a guy that people are saying that it was a robbery. Either it wasn't a robbery. You can look at that, and if there's a round or two here, it goes the other way. That was a great fight. And if you heard the hot mic pick up Ray Ford in the corner, he said, I don't have it tonight to box him. Meaning he was going to brawl with him. And that was not his plan. His plan was not to brawl with Nick Ball, because Nick Ball's fight is straightforward, throw punch wild. He throws that over the hand right after the getting close with the jab. And he scored a bunch of times. Ray Ford is one tough dude. He's a guy that I love in that division. I think he can be a world champion. A guy that I think could dominate some people who have some skills. For some reason, he didn't have it that night. I don't know if it was the weight cut, because they said he had trouble with the weight. I don't know if it was just the pressure. I don't know which it was. But either of all those circumstances put together, put all that together, pile it all on, and he still almost pulled it off. He wasn't upset about the fight, so you can't say it was a robbery. I don't think it was. He had no real qualms with it. I hope there's a rematch. I don't like it to be in Saudi, but Nick Ball is Turki Al-Sheikh's one of his favorite fighters, so he brings him back all the time. So maybe he's going to fight there. I hope they get the money they get over there, but I don't know. Ray Ford is a Jersey guy who's one tough dude. He is a tough dude, and I think they should bring him back here. Bring him back to Jersey or Vegas, and I think he would do well here. He wasn't the fight overall. I think is a candidate for fight of the year, so there should be a rematch. Taking nothing away from Nick Ball. Nick Ball is tough. He's tough. Even the guys that he fights that are slick fighters, like the one he fought in his last fight, they're slick fighters. But he still somehow puts the pressure on. He's rough. He's kind of dirty inside. So he's a guy who can. This guy can fight. Absolutely, this guy can fight. So he's an entertaining guy too. Ray Ford is one of these guys who can box, but he also can brawl. He showed it. He can brawl. And he's not. He has a lot of heart, and he put all that on the line last night. What I will say about this show is pretty simple. It was overall a good show. I think Frank, you're right. The Hergovic fight should have been the main event with Zhang and Wilder, the co. But these shows are just too long. They have to shorten these shows up. It moved a little bit better. But if it started at noon on the East Coast time, I mean, I'm in and out watching it here and there. Man, you need to shorten these things up. You need to get, maybe you have an 8-bout minimum or on that, and it goes one after another. And I think they were all 10 rounds or 12, or the bouts that we saw were 10. And then I don't know if I think Zhang might have been 10. Yeah, I think it was 10. So that itself, it just tends to have such a long fight. I mean, you can't do. I mean, I saw Sean Zattel doing a watch along, and even he was kind of like, man, he's filling space, he's filling time. It's hard to do. It's hard to do these when you're got such a massive amount of airtime to fill instead of the fights. You know, Sean Zattel, I saw his watch along, and he was calling him great. So it kept me interested in that. But there's a time where you gotta take super chats, you gotta take comments, and there's so much space. If you don't have the comments, if you don't have the super chats to take, you're gonna be sitting there talking gibberish, kind of like I'm doing now. But there's just nothing there. Like those fights have got to be shortened up, have to be, because there's no way anybody could sit there and watch these fights for that long. I mean, and do these things. I can't see how that can do that. We'll see what happens on August 3rd. August 3rd is in Los Angeles. We'll see how it goes together. And that's something done by Turkey Al-Sheikh and the Saudis. So that was good. So Ray Ford, I don't think he got robbed. I thought legitimately he lost, but you can go either way. I think you can go either way. So that wraps up that portion of this show there with the boxing section. Let me go to UFC 302. It was in Newark, New Jersey, right by my hometown. And let me go for the co-main, Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa. Very disappointing with Paulo Costa. It didn't look like he wanted to fight. Usually Paulo Costa is a guy who, when you start to get hit, or he starts to get hit, he will fight you right back. You look at the Luke Rockhold fight. You look at any of his the Adesanya fight. He will fight. He will swing and he will fight with you. This one, it did not look like he wanted to engage. Whether it was his problem with his legs, whether it was a problem with his making weight, he did not want to engage with this guy, and I don't know why. Because I think he would have given him a better shot. He didn't. And it turns out Sean Strickland wins a unanimous decision, and that was the right call. Disappointing. I was very disappointed in that. I thought Sean Strickland had a game plan. Oh man, he takes some leg kicks. He was checking those leg kicks, and I don't know how he's walking today, but those are brutal leg kicks. That brings us to the main event: Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. Now, I wanted Dustin Poirier to win. I didn't think he would. I was pulling for him so much because he's a guy who's a good guy, one of the good guys in the business, and that's very rare in both MMA and boxing. Very rare. And he loses by submission round 5 in a war, an absolute war. Islam was beat up a little bit there, marked up anyway, and so was Poirier. But the fight kind of played out like I thought it would. It would be a war until Makhachev kind of got him to the ground and would submit him. We figured that would be Coach Diz was here yesterday, or I was on with him yesterday, I think, and he predicted that there would be submission by Makhachev. He's right. That is what happens in this business with those Dagestan wrestlers. They're just good, tough to wrestle with. And they're really talented. Coming up this week, we have Fred Sternberg is going to be on the show. We filmed that on Thursday. Fred Sternberg is going to the International Boxing Hall of Fame this weekend coming up. I will be on site there in Canastota, New York with my wife and Coach Diz. We'll both be there. We're going to try to get as many interviews as we can. I don't know if they'll allow many because they're doing a bunch of stuff there. But it'll be good to see those people, the people in boxing who have made it to such a prestigious level in this game. I'm excited. I've never been there. I think that it's something I've always wanted to do. It's right down the street from Cooperstown, New York, which we can go to the boxing hall, the baseball hall of fame. I haven't been there since 86. 86, whatever the year. No, it would be 85, 1985, because the Royals won I think the Royals won the World Series that year, and they were the hot item. They're getting any of the Kansas City Royals stuff. I think they were. I think they were the champions that year. If you can, guys, if anyone wants to join in on the chat, feel free to. If you have any questions, I will answer as much as you can. Right now, I'm just in the back here at the shop because I needed some time to get away to get this thing in because I knew I wouldn't have time today. But it's a show that I wanted to put on today before this next week's going to be extremely busy for me. Fred Sternberg on Monday at 6 a.m. it drops. And I'm trying to get Kevin on this week. And I will try to get George Djokovic, Percy Crawford, and one other guy that I'm working on. I don't know if I can get him. He will be actually going into the Hall of Fame also this weekend. And I'll talk to him and see if he can get on. Someone I've wanted to interview for a long time. And what better time to do it than his week that he's going into the Boxing Hall of Fame. So my wrap up here, pretty simply, Big Bang Zhang knocks out Deontay Wilder, and it was a very good performance from Zhang. Started off a little slow. I thought he was in cement for a few minutes. Wilder, this is the end of Deontay Wilder. I don't think you could take that much punishment and compete on a big level like that, especially if you can't take a punch in the heavyweight division. Doesn't work well. Phil Hergovic getting stopped on cuts by Daniel Dubois, TKO 8. Sets up Daniel against AJ in London and on September 21st. That's what's being talked about now. Good fight, and that could really do a lot for Daniel. I mean, fighting for the heavyweight championship can do a lot for anybody, but still, it could be that really moves him forward. Nick Ball, Ray Ford, fight of the night. I thought it could be fight of the year. Ray Ford got edged out by Nick Ball. Nick Ball, I'm starting to like. He's a little wild, but Ray Ford, my guy, New Jersey guy from Camden, New Jersey, just couldn't get it. And I think this is a lot of these fights that if Ray Ford's going to be doing a lot of these fights where they're because his last fight was just a knockout, drag out Arturo Gatti-ish fight. There ain't going to be many of those for Ray Ford to do. He can box. The guy can box. Why not box? He's got the skill to do it. He's talented as all hell. And I think that if he boxes, I think really he's got a chance to really make a good career for himself. But he has to stay away from these wars. These wars are going to catch up with him very quickly, and it will not end well for Ray Ford. Okay. And obviously UFC 302. Islam Makhachev proves why he's the best right now active fighter. I'm not going to say pound for pound fighter. I think pound for pound is John Jones. I don't think there's any way you can say any different. John Jones dominated light heavyweight, jumped up to heavyweight, and took out the number one heavyweight in the world in Cyril Gane, and actually did it pretty easily. So you can't say he's the number one pound for pound. John Jones is the number one pound for pound. He's the best fighter I've ever seen, period. Two guys in a room, lock the doors. Who walks out? John Jones walks out all the time. He's that good. Sean Strickland, Paul Acosta, not what I expected from Paulo Costa. He disappointed a lot of people, and it seemed to me like he didn't want to fight. And it turns out that Sean Strickland's a little better than I thought he was. I didn't think he'd win this fight. I thought Sean was going to get beat, and I thought he'd get beat early. But and I thought Poirier would get beat early. I didn't think, but this might be the end for Poirier. So he had one left in him, and I think that was important for him to show that, hey, this is who I am. This is what my career was. He got to just right to that top underneath. Wasn't a not that he wasn't a legit champion. He was, but he's an intern champion. He was never the regular champion, and that's what I think he wanted. Why he wanted this fight so badly, and obviously there was no staph infection for Islam Makhachev. That was not the case. So that was a non-issue evidently in this fight. Well, that wraps it up for us. Once again, I will go back to this week. We're going to go to the International Boxing Hall of Fame. We're going to give you guys some updates. We're going to show our travels up there and back. I'm trying to get one other guy that is going into the Boxing Hall of Fame this week. I do have Fred Sternberg coming on Monday, tomorrow, 6 a.m. It drops the episode. Fred is a great guy. He's done. He is the publicist to many, obviously publicist to Manny Pacquiao, but he's worked with so many people in the boxing industry. He's well respected, and he's a guy that was, he was one of these guys. As he pops up on the screen, that's Fred Sternberg, and he'll be going in this weekend. He again is a guy who I've also admired from afar of what he's done family wise. Everyone in his family is from his brother on to his son currently now. Got just passed the bar, going to be an attorney, graduated in the 1 percentile of his class, which means he gets to practice law throughout the country without having to go to individual state laws. So it tells you how intelligent he is and what he's done for his fighters that he's represented. Finally, guys, once again, if you guys can, go to ringside.com/podcast. You guys can get up to 40% off selected brands. And that stuff is good for younger fighters who are just coming up, or pros that are coming up that can't afford the big scale stuff and have personalized stuff. It could be good for them to use. You get 40% off. Doesn't really cost anything much anymore. Something that you can do. Very important. Oh, there is D-Style Boxing. Oh, D-Style Boxing. Wilder needs to retire. But D-Style, thank you. D-Style, I've been so busy. I don't know if I told you I had my stupid air conditioner. Happy Sunday to you too, buddy. My stupid air conditioner went down, and I've been having issues with that, trying to get stuff fixed. But we appreciate you popping on here. I will get on with you guys and Joe shortly. I'm going D-Style. I don't know. Are you going to the Boxing Hall of Fame? If you're still on, if you could let me know, I would see you there. Because I'll be going this week. I'll wait for him to see if he pops up there. And you are right. Deontay Wilder needs to retire. That is too much. That is exactly what happens when you take too many punches. Unbelievable. And it wasn't even that hard of a punch. And it was just one of those things where you're at the end of your career. Reminds me of almost like a Chuck Liddell, when you could hit him with a baseball bat across the chin and he would stay there. Then simply he gets hit and out he goes, just like that. Now, and I kind of felt, because it wasn't a crazy punch where he was hurt. You get hit by a 280-pound, 290-pound man, it's over. But it's still not there. Let me see. Oh, you won't be making it. Okay, well, D-Style, when you come to the East Coast, anywhere close, obviously the invitation is always open to come down to here. We'll hook up together, and I'll probably be in LA. Oh, you're going to be in LA for that card. Oh shit. Huh. I'll be in Vegas. I guess my wife probably is watching this. I don't know, but I'll be in Vegas on a weekend. Oh, I'm going on vacation to see my stepson and I think it's going to be in June. So I'll be there. D-Style, if you're there and want to make the trek over, I could go somewhere there. We could actually get together then. But I'd like to, if you're on the East Coast, man, anytime you're this way, definitely we'd treat you well. Come in here. You can even come in the studio. We'd have a nice thing. We'll go to the fights and then head up to the studio. I don't know if there's many fights on the East Coast that are big right now. They seem to all be having in LA and Vegas. But definitely something we got to do. I will definitely be on with you guys. D-Style Boxing. Go to D-Style Boxing on YouTube. Go to his Instagram. He's got a lot of stuff up there. You got to see how many people this guy has. How many friends in the business he has. He's one of the OGs in the YouTube boxing space. Has a ton of friends and a ton of contacts in the boxing game himself. Some that I couldn't believe he had. I said, holy cow, you know all these, and he has them. And they all come on a show. Great interviews, great content all the time. He does this way better than I do because he knows been doing it for so long. And young guy, just unfortunately he switched his job a little bit, so his live streams aren't on Thursdays anymore night. I don't know if he's doing that anymore. It's more of in the morning, from what I understand. I catch him when I'm baking during the night, and it's easier for me to do that. But he's one of the OGs there. Him and Joe Beeb, they do a great roundtable discussion, have a bunch of guests on, and it's always a good time. It's always a good time when I'm on there. Just lately, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff here at the shop. I mean, when you own a building, you get all the bills. Meaning, if the air conditioner goes down, that's on you. The oven goes down, that's on you. The cooler goes down, that's on you. That's the one thing that I really hate about it. I own it, but maybe someday it'll pay off. Maybe someday. Appreciate you, brother. They're on Mondays, then roundtable. Okay, so you got Mondays and on the roundtable, then a roundtable. So go to D-Style Boxing's YouTube channel, subscribe to his channel. He all the content that he has there is very good. And he is a legit diehard boxing fan. He knows people and fighters that are like on the undercards. The guys that have 6 people fighting in there, he knows them, knows their records, knows what they do, how they fight. I can't do that as much. I used to back in the day. I knew it when I was involved in fighting. I was there and I was competing myself. I knew a lot of those guys. It just, for me, I couldn't do it. Number one, I think my memory is just about shot. Number two, I have kids that require a lot of attention, and I recently got remarried. So it's a little bit more difficult as I'm getting more into this and hanging with guys like D-Style and Joe Beeb. I can do that. I can do it. I could like learn from them and what they do. Those guys are important. They're these guys who put this content on are very important to the boxing game. I know D-Style's told me a lot of times of what he would do to change boxing. His ideas are great. They're great. The way you can change boxing and do certain things, get more promotion for these guys. I think a lot of fighters are afraid to do promotions. They're afraid to go out there and do that. They think they got the gotcha moments, and they don't. You will look at his content. He doesn't do that. He'll ask the questions that you need to be asked, but he also has back up the facts. He's not a guy who's going to throw it out there and have no facts, and you got him. No, he does the facts. He knows what's going on. He has his facts. He has all his stuff in order, and he goes out there and he performs well when he's under the lights of doing interviews with some of these big names. And I would love to have him on my show sometime. There's another guy I want to have on my show. Guys, he has a show called The Big Don Show. I'm trying to get everyone on as much as I can. It's just been difficult. Again, it's Sunday morning at, I don't even know, 10 o'clock or something, 10:30. So I'm kind of juggling stuff right now. I do like to do the boxing and bagels because bagels is my business. Sundays is the perfect day for me to do it. So there was my lineup there. This week, I'm going to the Boxing Hall of Fame. If anybody's out there, stop in, say hello. I will be there. Fred Sternberg, I will be talking to there. His interview drops tomorrow at 6. Jim Lampley, I'll see him at the Boxing Hall of Fame and those people there. Hopefully get one more interview with a guy who's going in this week. Hopefully I can get to him by Tuesday. But that's it. We're going to wrap this up. With that being said, don't be envious of what I've accomplished in my life. Be inspired by what you can do with yours. I will see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.